Hey, everybody. Welcome to Are We There Yet? Episode 23, Erotica. That was recording, but I don't care. Hi, Mara.
Hi.
I'm your host, Susan Ruth.
I'm your host, Mara Adelman, and we are two humans who are going to have those real conversations and raise the questions we all have about where is there when it comes to dating, relationships, and sex.
Woo, woo, woo.
Erotica. So today we're going to talk about all things erotica. So how to use erotica, visual literature to enhance and spark up your sex life a bit. And then we're also going to be talking about the sexual erotica blueprints that just got made really big on the Goop, Gwyneth Paltrow show. They talked about the erotic blueprints. So stay tuned until the end of the video, because knowing your erotic blueprint is supposed to be able to completely spark up your sex life. So we'll talk about those. Where's your there recently, Susan? What's new and exciting?
I am so busy that I am not dating at all. I'm just focusing on work. Although I gotta say that me saying I'm not dating, it's not a lot of difference for me saying I am dating. It's not the same, but that's okay. How about you? Where's your there?
That is funny. To comment on your there, they have done studies that show that, like, when life gets busy, just pull back off the apps, because trying to piecemeal it and do a little bit is why we have so much of that swipe culture. Because when you're not really in it, you're not really going to respond. And then it doesn't ever really match up because both people are too busy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was a good call on your part.
Thanks.
My there is not a very good there. My papa's passed away. And it's just hard when you lose your parents, both my parents in the last 2 years. So I'm trying not to be super pouty, but I got excited to still do this episode because you were like, you know, we can pause if you need to. And I said, you know what, we're going to do the erotica one because I'm going to dedicate it to my papa's. He spent most of his life, starting from 13 on, being a photographer, photography. And so in the early 70s, I have all these slides, hundreds of them, of family stuff, but also like fun erotica photos. He used to do tons of photos of the Renaissance fairs. You know, in the olden days when people would put on the Western stuff for the photo pictures, but he'd have like half naked ladies, boobs out, and boas around their necks. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but this was his business card that he created with my mother. And they are so young. And so since they're both gone, I just like to think of them like this: on a beach, naked. That's my mom holding a mirror while my dad is naked in the picture. You won't be able to see it.
Tilt it a little bit.
Oh, tilt it. You won't be able to see him necessarily, but that's him with one of those old school black cameras where you have to put the black thing over your head. He's in the mirror taking a picture of my mother, and they're both naked.
You should get that turned into a big poster or something.
I'm going to probably get it printed and put it in my garage. It's because the other thing that they did, I just think it was the 70s, and they were very into erotica. So this is my mommy. I'm also memorializing my mommy because she's gone too. This is my mom in her younger years.
Nice.
So if you look, so the reason I'm showing this is my mom and dad both had these rings.
Yeah.
Can you see the ring? They had these rings made, and it's a female silhouette of a female body. And if you turn the ring, that's a man kissing, and his like legs are kind of wrapped around. And so as a child, my sister and I would look at it, and we could never figure it out till we were older. It just looked like a chunky ring. So they were very into the erotica. I'm super excited to have all of his slides. Someday I want to make like an erotica 70s kind of coffee table book out of his slides.
That'd be great.
So yeah, I think it goes very well into what we're talking about today, which is erotica, the definition.
Say your dad's name so we can.
Oh, I'm sorry. Gordon Adelman. He did such a good job. He passed away in 91. He went out just like he lived. Easy. Very little fussing.
91 is a good run. It's never long enough, but that's a good run, you know.
And he was pretty healthy till the end. The day he passed away, I gave him a bite of Rocky Road ice cream, and he was all happy. And so he loved food, as most older Jewish men do, or younger Jewish men. He just loved to eat. And so he had a pretty good passing. I mean, no passing is great, but yeah, he was a very wise man. He's going to be very missed, but he had my brother taking care of him at home, and he did an amazing job, and my older siblings and all my, family constantly kind of coming in. So yeah, thanks, Daddy. Thanks for the fun erotica stuff. I'm going to have around the house for the rest of my life.
Sorry about your loss, and I know y'all were tight. So but I'm glad we get to dedicate today to him.
Yeah, it makes me feel better about doing it so shortly after.
Pardon, and it's naked penis.
Yeah, naked penis. My dad's naked penis. So we grew up on nude beaches when we were children. And so that's where a lot of the pictures come from too. And so it's going to be hard to delineate things when we talk about it because, for instance, my favorite photo that he ever took isn't really erotica, but nowadays would probably be deemed like pedophilia. But this was a much innocent, times were more innocent. And so there's this picture of like two naked, very pregnant women jumping on a bed with a couple toddlers jumping on a bed. So if you have clothes on, nobody thinks anything of it, but they're all naked jumping. And every time I see that picture, I just go, oh, like it's the sweetest, most beautiful picture I've ever seen.
Here's the thing. If you look at that and you think pedophilia, then I would argue that there's something maybe a little off in your brain than looking at that and seeing joy and beauty.
Yeah.
And childbirth, and
because I see childbirth and beauty.
Nail, or if you're a hammer, everything's a nail. You know what I mean?
That's a very good point. Yeah, because all I saw was childbirth and beauty and family. But also, I grew up on nude beaches, so who am I to talk?
It's a different time. So there's the argument of, were those kids? Did their parents? Blah. Now it's consent and all that, and I get that, but it was in its time frame, which we have to always remember.
Yes.
Something's time frame, then it was just joy.
It was just joy. So my dad, I get to go back and look at all the slides and feel lots of joy. So that makes me very happy. And essentially, definition of erotica, because I didn't really understand kind of the difference, is in a broad sense, any literature or art that deals with any kind of subject matter that is erotic, sexually stimulating, or sexually arousing. It does not generally be considered to be pornographic. It's more artistic form, painting, sculptures, drawing. Even my parents' rings, to me, that was erotica. I think you said you have like something that's kind of erotica behind you. What's that behind you?
This is my a drawing my mom's college roommate made.
It's gorgeous. Oh yeah, super erotic.
Boobies.
Yeah, we got the erotic, we got all the right pieces going on for that. So essentially anything intended to arouse sexual desire by reading it, looking at it. But they've definitely delineated that from pornography, because with pornography, the key distinction in that is that the objective is graphic depiction of sexuality with explicit scenes of sex.
Okay.
Versus erotica.
Erotica is like Anais Nin, Little Birds. It's a great erotica book. I love that.
What's it called?
It's called Little Birds, Anais Nin. I love it.
I always like
it.
Very
spicy.
Is it spicy? Is it reading?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the difference, right? Because erotica seeks to tell a story that involves sexual themes without being outright pornographic, right? Mm-hmm. And so the cool thing, I like the history when I find it. Erotica has been around for a long time. The ancient Greeks, Egyptians, and French all had erotic art going back as far as like 300 CE, which I forgot to look that up. That's before BC, I believe.
BCE, I think, is the full of it.
Bottom line, that's when the Kama Sutra came out. So a long time ago.
Before Christ, basically.
Before Christ. Bottom line, the Kama Sutra has been around forever. And so erotica has been around forever, which I think is super cool. I always like we're not starting this game. This has been going on for a really long time.
For sure.
A really long time. So one concept.
The Japanese have some beautiful, and so do the Chinese, actually. The Asian erotica prints are really stunning as well.
They are.
And, show some interesting things.
Well, is it the geishas? Are they Japanese, the geishas?
Well, there's Japanese and Chinese. And my mom has some prints on the walls of my parents' house that is depiction of erotica, but from various dynasties, as they say.
That's super. We grew up a lot alike. There was a lot of erotica around. I like it. I think that makes for a good.
I remember when I found this is off topic, found the joy of sex in my parents' room, and I thought, oh my God, they have sex? Whoa!
I have that on my bookshelf. I found a used copy at a bookstore and I had to buy it. That's erotica, right? I mean,
I don't think that's erotica. I think that's manual. That's just
a
manual for single sex. To be more tittillating, I think. That's more of an instructional thing. You know what I mean?
You know me now.
The Kama Sutra as well feels, I think there's erotic pictures in it, but I feel like it's
so you're right. This is definitely more a manual on how to do things, but it's got a bunch of like erotic photos in there.
Right. But I don't think those are erotic. I feel like those are just pictures of sexual.
Oh, come on. Sorry to disagree. Can you see that one?
Yeah, I guess that one's erotic. I would call that one erotic. Yeah.
I feel like they tried to do some kind of mixture of like, it's kind of like what we do on here. We're always trying to teach people things, but then we're trying to keep it fun and light.
If it's a watercolor, it's erotica. If it's a hand drawing,
then it's not erotic. So other fun things.
Not erotic.
Say again?
A stick figure is not erotic.
A stick figure loses all eroticity. It loses all its erotic potential.
Eroticism.
Oh my goodness. Today the words are hard. One of my favorite things a friend gave me is a whole bunch of these books called The Best American Erotica. And there's I have them from 1990 to 2003. So this would be a fun thing to do as a couple, is to have books like this around and, read each other a bedtime story. And so most of these are only 15 pages long each, and they're super fun and sexual and flirty. And so ways to use erotica in your relationships would be to read each other a bedtime story. You could act out things that you've read. That's fun.
Yeah.
You can text each other sexy little memes and erotica type things throughout the day to get the engines fired up. Fun thing I heard, I want to say, might have been Esther Perel again. She's amazing. I don't know who said this. When couples are in a rut, have them write down or share with each other their 3 most memorable sex sessions with each other.
Oh, that's nice.
It was Esther Perel, because she was like, how can you be mad when you're going back and saying, oh, that one was fun. Oh, that was fun.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it was a great idea. Or write your own erotica as a couple. I would be horrible at that, but you as a writer could probably write some pretty dang good erotica.
Yeah. Chaucer, I think, is sort of an erotic dude. I mean, I think he was trying to be more body than anything, but it turns into erotica. If you consider Old English erotic.
It's not my favorite reading, I have to be honest, but I love it that there's some erotica in there somewhere.
Yeah.
And then the other interesting thing, of course, we have to remember is that men and women can be different. There was a meta-analysis review that took 48 studies and looked at them all together on gender differences in sexual arousal to erotica. And I think we already would know this, but men tend to be more aroused across all the forms of erotica, whether it was literature, visual, because sometimes they can be more easily aroused. But also men were way more responsive to the visual. So things like Playboy or other type of visual things, way more stimulated than for women who are more aroused by reading, auditory, touch, emotional, kind of different forms of erotica, right? And there's a whole bunch of different kinds. We put links down below. There's this cool website now called Dipsea, and they do Audible erotic stories. So if you don't feel like reading, they read it to you. That's kind of fun.
Yeah. That's fun.
Kind of fun to do together, right? I think I got you one of these. Super fun thing to do.
Here's the thing about Playboy. I think it's a mix of erotica and straight up what one might consider pornography. I feel like Playboy is on the lighter side of pornography, though.
Yeah, I would say it is. There are some scenes you're right. It's kind of a mix because there's scenes of people together that are more pornographic, but then there's also like the female body that's just kind of erotic. And there's stories in here, which is like the literature part of like the erotica.
Cartoons are great.
The cartoons are always funny. This one, I bought myself my birth year, 1974. So this is super fun. I think I got you one. I've gotten friends them. It's super fun to have the Playboy from your birth year and to look back at like how many things are different.
Different. Yeah, it's a great idea. Yeah.
It was super fun. So that's definitely more visual. Men again are going to be more turned on visually. But remember, for female, because we're a little bit slower to warm up sometimes, our sexual response cycles automatically mean that sometimes we have to feel desire to get excited and aroused. And so remember, as a female, it's okay to say, you know what, honey? Okay, we're going to have sex later. You go do the dishes and put the kids to bed. I'm going to go read some of this and get warmed up for when you come to bed. And now maybe you guys are on like an equal playing field when you get started, right?
Good idea. Yeah.
Get warmed up.
Nin never fails me. I'll tell you that.
Oh, what is it?
Anais Nin never fails me.
I missed it again.
Anais Nin, Little Birds, that book never fails.
Oh, thank you. It's because I didn't know the name of the title. So you read that one and it gets you kind of going?
Oh, it'll get you going.
Oh yeah. I like a lot. I will order that to add to my repertoire of interesting, because I haven't been doing it. For me personally, it does help get me in the mood. It takes my brain off of things, but I've been too busy dealing with lots of other life things to feel sexual at all. But I'm going to start reading that at bedtime and see if it can get me a little more spunked up again. And then other stuff you could do, you can send your partner an erotic email. In specific detail, telling them what you want to do them when they get home, and just make sure that none of their work fellows take a look at their emails. The other fun piece about erotica, this was cool. I don't know if I shared with you that I'm kind of OCD about things, especially once the pandemic. And so I have a bit of what's called contamination OCD. Like if I touch the door handle out in public, I'm constantly like, that is a very dirty hand. Do not use, like, I want to, kind of scrub it off. They did a study in 2018 found that sexual arousal brought on by erotica and other types of sexual arousal can actually help fix that and kind of calm the mind around those things. And I was like, oh, that's true. I've never thought about germs when I'm giving a blowjob.
Which is interesting.
It's because it's not, it's that contamination OCD is really like when you touch things that are dirty. Yeah, and then I touched the cup and now that's like, ew, which is, as a medical provider, they're called fomites. It's kind of true. If you take germs from a handle and touch your cup, they're now on your cup.
Yeah, sure.
It's not unfounded fears, this OCD thing I have, but I loved reading that just having sex more or reading erotica more can kind of dim that.
That's great. I mean, I read a book on parasitology and have trouble eating sushi ever since. So I get it. So the more you know, and as a healthcare provider, I imagine you know too much.
Too much. And remind me not to read that book, because every time I eat sushi, my mom would always say that. She never ate sushi because of the worms, because she was a nurse. I'm like, I don't care. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. I love sushi. Don't tell me. Do you still love it?
I don't. I only eat the cooked stuff and the vegetable stuff. I don't eat the every once in a while I'll have some hamachi or, every once in a blue moon, but I know too much.
I know that is the problem. Once we know too much, just like when we talked about like last week with the green flags and how hard a couple weeks ago, like how hard it is to like trust that things aren't going to shape shift eventually, right? Or that their representative isn't going to come out. It's like the more we know about all this stuff, sometimes the harder it is.
Yeah, for sure.
I fully agree with that. So on a fun note on erotica is we're going to talk about the blueprints, and we put a quiz down below. And supposedly this is like a whole huge, everybody knows about it now. It was on Goop. Well, I guess once things are on Goop, everybody knows about it. So we should try and get on Goop someday.
Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina candle. Wasn't that like yeah.
She has vagina candles, huh?
Yeah, this candle smells like my vagina is, I believe, what the candle box says.
I've seen this. I like her. She's cute. So she had somebody on there that talked about all of these erotic blueprints. And so you and I took the quiz, but I'm just going to run through the 5 really quick. So you've got the energetic blueprint, which means you are aroused by like anticipation and teasing, and you enjoy a lot of foreplay and experimenting with different toys and massage oils and props. And that makes you the energetic type, versus the sensual type, who's aroused more by touch and sensation, taste, smell, sounds. And they like to be super relaxed and in their senses and out of their head in order to be open to a sexual connection. And then you've got the sexual, who are they just like the simple act of like, let's have some sex and good old fashioned foreplay. And the only issue with that is that sometimes they have to find a willing partner who's ready to get down and be sexual when they are. And then we've got the kinky, which is aroused. Remember, I think we talked about on the fetishes and kink that taboo is a huge reason people get turned on. And so the kinky people really love things that are taboo. So like sex outside, sex in public, all those things that we talked about on that past episode. And the only problem is sometimes because they like all the taboo stuff, then they start to feel shame because the whole world tries to shame people nowadays, well, always, for being anything besides what is considered completely normal. So that's the only downfall with having the kinky type, is that you then sometimes have some retroactive shame around it.
Right.
And then we've got the shapeshifters, who are aroused by all of the above. They like a little bit of all of those. And so where did your quiz tell you landed?
I'm sexual, but also, what was the second one again?
The second one was, we had energetic, sensual.
I think I'm a mix of sexual and sensual.
Like you really like the taste, touch, smell.
If you want to have sex with me, just give me a back rub, basically.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because then that puts you out of your brain, into your body.
I had a massage a couple of weeks ago, and this man, lovely man, gave me a massage. And I remember, and it felt so freaking good. And I thought to myself, right now, this man, who's maybe came up to my chin too, by the way, plus the short kinks, but he me, do you want a happy ending? I might have been like, yeah, okay. I mean, my body just felt so woo. It's crazy. I think you and I should make a pact, because remember, I had that same massage. I had a guy massaging me, and I wanted to ask him if anybody had ever asked him about happy endings. I wouldn't dare. I'm totally going to do it. Next time I'm having a massage from a male masseuse, I'm going to ask him if he's ever been asked to do that. Okay. I'm not going to personally have him do that, but I'm curious. No, but I mean, it makes sense. I mean, look, every person that I've ever been intimate with who's like, oh, do you need a massage? And I'm like, I know what that means. Massage or nap. And the trick is to get the massage to last at least 10 minutes. Before the sex and before the nap. I know what both those things mean, but anyway, yeah. So instead of, for you, it's always the nap and the massage versus the Netflix and chill. Yeah, right. Nap and massage, Netflix and chill. Exactly. They're all saying the exact same thing. Watch the movie. Like, wait till the movie's done. I want to watch the movie. I want to watch the movie too. I'm thinking the best thing is massage, sex, movie, more sex. As long as there's not a meal in there. Like, don't make me have sex right after I eat. My belly is full. I probably have to poops. I just, you know what I mean? It's hard to feel sexual when you're super full. It just is. It really is. So my results came up that I was the shapeshifter. Did I say that already? I think, did I tell you? Shapeshifter? That doesn't surprise me. As soon as you said that, I went, oh, you're the shapeshifter, I bet. Yeah, I like a little bit of all of those. I think it's because I have a harder time getting out of my head into my body. I have a harder time with orgasm. So I need a little bit of everything to kind of get there, to get all there, about there. Yeah. So that's all we have on erotica. I think everybody should go find the erotica that speaks to you, find the erotica that speaks to your partner, try to start using that and incorporating it into your relationship, figure out what your sexual blueprint is so that your partner knows. It's just like love languages. If Susan says to her partner, I'm a sensual and a sexual, which means I want to have all my senses engaged, and then I want to have some good sex.
well, now your partner can figure out how to accommodate those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or one of, yeah.
Yeah.
I have the hiccups now.
We gave you the hiccups. It's okay because I think we did it. Pretty much. Don't forget to subscribe, like us on Instagram.
Our next giveaway is still going. It's still going strong. So subscribe below and you'll be entered to win the Vibratex toy. We've got so many of them to give away. Thank you for the Vibratex. And or you can follow us, it's a follow on Instagram on Are We There Yet IG. Definitely check that out. All the information is below. And yeah, have fun on this journey of erotica. See what you're into. Enjoy. Be safe, be comfortable, be happy.
Be comfortable, be safe, be happy, stay connected. And in a couple weeks, we're going to be talking to my friend Angie, who's kind of like the epitome of like erotica. She's done everything she's done burlesque dancing herself. And currently, I think she's mostly doing boudoir photography for other women. I've seen some of her work. It's super beautiful, super erotic. Someday I want to do my own photo shoot. It's on have you ever done it?
No.
Yeah.
Maybe. I can't remember. I feel like, I think I did do it once. You're going to laugh at me. My mother, I asked my mom if she would take some sexy pictures of me to give to a boyfriend.
Good job, Mama. Well, again, going back to my father, God, I love him. Going through old pictures, there was a picture of one of my older sisters, and it was the same thing. You could tell she'd asked him to get some hot ones for a boyfriend.
Yeah, exactly. So,
if you have a good photographer in the house, you need to use them. Okay, that's the story.
She understood lighting and all that stuff. I believe my college boyfriend was the recipient of those. God only knows where they are now. I think I had very strong lipstick on at the time.
Like the bright red. I think I am going to someday in the new year maybe get my own done, just for me, not for anybody else, just for me.
Absolutely. Well, I love you. A shout out to Gordon. May he rest well upon the heavenly shores. And
I'm gonna cry again.
No crying. Well, you can cry.
On a side note, anybody who goes through grief, just know that it's like a roller coaster. I'm totally fine, and then I'm not, and then you're fine, and then you're not. So anybody going through grief out there, it's all normal. It too shall pass a little bit with time. That's what happens. But it just sucks in the moment. So thanks for the shout out to my pop, Susan. I love you lots.
I love you. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Have a good time. We'll see you in a couple weeks.